Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another match, this time ranked. I'm running a synergy this time that I was given as a challenge. As always, I don't recommend forcing synergies, but sometimes it's the best way to learn a synergy and find what really works or doesn't for it. In this case, I was told to run normal since it's not one that I run often at all. Let's give it a go. In the early stages, I find it's best to load up the bench and search for evolutions, not really focusing on a specific synergy yet, even if I have a synergy I'm trying to force later. Right now, I just need power and I can pivot to whatever I need when the time comes. I just keep selecting units and I hope to get some matches to work with. I find an early Pikachu which is solid, and after a little hesitation I definitely want that amulet coin. It's one of the best items in the game if you have it early, and I slap it right on the Pikachu as it will be my early game carry. Pikachu does pick up only a single KO, and I sell units to hit 10 gold for interest this round now that I have an evolution to work with. At the carousel, I pick up a pair of glasses, which is fine as I can make a wonder box. I place in the Mudkip as it's more passive and tanky, which is less likely to steal KOs from Pikachu. I give Pikachu the wonder box hoping for some good rolls to boost his chances for KOs. I also level up since I have enough to stay at 10 gold and slot in an extra Pokemon. To me, starting a win streak here is definitely worth it and my odds aren't terrible. My opponent does not have any evolutions and has bug synergy, so I capitalize and Pikachu picks up a solid 3 coins. Not a bad roll with Flame Orb and X-Ray Vision for added attack and attack speed combo. I grab Purloin in the additional picks as the items don't speak to me, and the unit likely does not help anyone else much in this match. I slot in 3 electric for slightly increased damage boost for Pikachu to increase my odds a little further with minimum investment. My opponent has 3 evolutions and paralyzes Pikachu, so that about wraps up this match for me. I stay at the benchmark of 30 gold and hold, looking to continue maximizing my eco. Pikachu rolls a wide lens in this next match and takes advantage with the range. It snipes their main threat, then quickly closes out the round for another 3 coins. It's doing a great job as a strong placeholder for the team. This following match, Pikachu focuses on a tanky Marshtomp. It's basically nullified and does not have much of a chance in this one, and the team gets cleaned out. Unfortunately, I haven't had much of a win or loss streak in this one, but the amulet coin has made up for it. I wait to see what other additional picks come through before making my selection. I don't want to give Tyrant to anyone, and quite frankly, Mr. Mime seems pretty good on Fairy Psychic teams. So I select the Salandit and run with the mana items, which will go with my Twisted Spoons, so that's fine. It probably would have been better to have added normal type in place of the Aeron for added shield, but Pikachu has another outstanding roll with Muscle Band Shell Bell combo, and it doesn't really matter in this one as it cleans up for another 3 coins. I'm sitting comfortably here at Gyarados, and I usually use the benchmark of level 5 and 50 gold stored at this point to gauge how I'm doing. If I'm below, that means I have some catching up to do. If I'm above, then I'm doing pretty well. I collect and slot in more normal types to influence portals for the unique, but I keep Pikachu to give me that little extra oomph to get through Gyarados. I also position the units around Pikachu to gain the shield bonus and give it extra tank. The normal synergy is not really that exciting, as it simply just gives your normal units and adjacent allies shield as a pseudo health boost at the start of each fight. It's pretty passive, so to run normal you will need to find a way to deal damage. And preferably scale, as the shield will give you a buffer and added time for scaling in matches. Gyarados doesn't want to accept its defeat, and its after image hangs around during the unique portals. Luckily, I do have a normal portal in front of me, so I have no stress here. I'm able to push for level 6 without issue, and between my unique picks I'm not overly sold between Tauros and Cyclizar. I already have a lot of shield from normal, so I don't see the need for more. So I go with Tauros as I think it will give me more offensive output with a damaging ability, and it's a little more straightforward to use with an amulet coin. The next match is against a poison team, and for some reason I thought poison bypassed shield, but was pleasantly surprised that it doesn't. Not a real factor for this match as I get steamrolled anyways, but something that I noted. I decide to remove Gyarados from the background with a quick refresh and head on to the next round. At this additional pick, I pause pretty hard. Helioptile is pretty decent and I can get light synergy if I ever get a Clefairy to pair light with it, but I don't want the fossil. The other 2 items don't woo me, so I fall to temptation and try to make this unit work with the team. It does help that I also have 2 Dittos in the shop as well. I'm planning on using my AP items for the Helioptile as it sits in the back dealing damage at range. I had these items for Porygon in mind as an endgame carry, but I tend to wait too long to find a unit that I don't have yet instead of playing with what I currently have. So in theory, waiting for Porygon would be a decent choice, but evolving Helioptile and setting it up with items is the best course of action for now, and I can always transition to Porygon if it ever comes to it later. In this match, Heliolisk does output good damage, but can't chew through the Turtonator with the Assault Vest and Shield generation, making this a slow and lengthy match that was somewhat close but no cigar. Also, something I notice is that I don't have the damage tab open for this entire game. A little unusual for me and would have been nice to follow along and see the damage dealt over these matches, so I do apologize for that. I grab a heart scale as with Fossil I can make a Moonstone, as this item has increased its stock for me with how well the Fairy Synergy is doing, and I use it to slightly boost the output of my carry Heliolisk. There is a decent overlap for Fairy and Normal, so it isn't hard to fit in. The next match is against a Dark team and Heliolisk snipes their unique and makes this an easy match while the rest of the team cleans up. I'm feeling pretty confident at this point that I can make it to a strong endgame. I find a Togepi and slot it in for Fairy 4 and evolve Cleffa to get Clefairy to get Light Synergy going, which I position the team around the new Light Spot that formed. Since it's in the back, I set Heliolisk in the Light Spot for an added boost. Normal Synergy units will give shield to themselves and adjacent allies if the Synergy is active, and is why typically congregating the units together is the best strategy, as it gives the team the best overall shield bonus when they are all positioned tightly together. I think the max bonus is just shy of 2500 shield for the whole team of 9 in this 3x3 pattern. If someone has done the math themselves, please let me know if it's something different. After Mewtwo, I get a Seed which is less than desirable and I pick up a Charcoal as well. This makes protective pads which gives an attack bonus and shield while also protection from retaliation effects. This is a good item on Tauros as its ability will injure itself in the process and this item would nullify that negative effect. This is also a usable item for Dark Synergy teams against Fairy teams. Tauros already has 3 items with Wonder Box, so I just give it the Clefairy for added frontline tank and damage. Also, AD items are not too bad on Fairy with their damage boost that scales with their attack damage, though it's pretty minor here. I level up to 7 and hit the next tier in Normal Synergy, and each unit has a pretty significant amount of shield starting this match. Some of the units basically are starting with King's Rocks, which proves too much for my opponent and I end the fight without losing a single unit this match. Reaching Fairy 4 has provided a decent boost as well, and I'm not too unhappy for the Moonstone that I had given the Heliolisk. The team is running pretty smooth at this checkpoint, and I capitalize against a Water Dragon team that is still fishing for Magikarps. Luckily, I reach a Xatu shop with solid health and enough in the bank to not have to worry about it. This does put pressure on for some of those falling behind, especially the one who did not have enough to purchase one of the Wonder Boxes. I place a Wonder Box on Baneri as it's a placeholder and move on to the next fight. This time it's a Ghost team and it worries me a little bit. Ghost 8 can be a pain to deal with and I don't have a Fluffy Tail. But luckily I have some light units and can swing Light 4 in my endgame for added Rune Protect to give me something to work with if I need to dance around it later. I'm up against the Poison team, and the added time given by the shield to hold back that poison damage really buys me more than enough time to clean through. The way to get around shield somewhat in this game is inflicting the flinch status, where it allows 50% of incoming damage to bypass the shield entirely. Flinch is not as good as it used to be at one point, but it still holds as an option to get around heavy shields in some of the shield spammy units. After the legendary duo, there is one normal portal and it's left uncontested, so that's an easy grab. There are 2 options for normal and they're both pretty good in their own right. I used to like the fighting Meloetta a lot more when Lopunny was an Ultra, and I think it took a hit in usability for normal teams when Lopunny was downgraded. I land Regigigas and add it to my front line, and boy has this guy received a boost over where it used to be. It used to be a throwaway pick in the past in my opinion, but the slow start ability really lets it scale when you can buy it some time for it to activate, and those shields from Normal Synergy can buy at that time. This unit has some great pairing with Snorlax, who is a fellow normal monster, and if you can get both of those, I recommend a 7 normal 4 monster team and watch them run. Anyways, I don't have the items to run Regigigas as I normally would like to. Typically, I like Muscle Band and Shell Bell, and some other defensive or scaling item to round out this legendary. I'll need to find my damage and carry elsewhere. In this case, I fit in a Mareep to increase light to 3 to gain the passive mana generation for Helios so it can use its ability even more frequently. And I slot in the Amulet coin on Clefairy because where else at this point? I avoid putting it on Regigigas since the item does not add any strength, and I don't want to cap Regigigas' potential in this match. I face a mixed Ghost Dark team and don't have much issue. Helios remains uncontested and cleans up while Reggie soaks hits and buys time, and really I'm just scooping up units to get evolutions as I set up my endgame. I have a couple thoughts in mind, and that is going a pure 9 normal team, or going 7 normal with 4 light to dance around status if I need to since I don't have a fluffy tail. At the carousel I grab a choice scarf and it's not a bad item to use with fairy units, though I was tempted a little by the additional shielding with a King's Rock. I face a fighting team led by an Iron Valiant and it immediately breaks into my backline, but Helios targets it and is able to take it down before it becomes too much of a problem, and continues to pick off main threats from the other team. Regigigas rolls a green orb from Wonderbox which ends up being pretty clutch as it continues to tank and distract and manages to stay alive for the rest of the fight. The poison team is up next and thankfully the shielding holds the damage off long enough. As scary as it looks, I'm always a bit surprised to see how well the team survives and wins the war of attrition. I scan over the other team to see their synergies and surprised to see an artificial poison team, which is pretty unusual. At Birds, I find a King's Rock and at this point add it to boost the front line further, but I had forgotten about Ghost 8 and now the synergy will target Regigigas to KO. This makes it awkward if I have to maneuver around it later since the light spot is all the way in the back. And the Ghost synergy will now always target Regigigas at this point for the KO feature. I push for level 9 and roll a Shinx to round out Light 4, and guess who is next? As expected, Reggie is targeted, but it rolled a max revive with the Wonderbox, so good for me. And at least the third curse and also the status from Gaslight are held at bay for Helios to keep doing its thing. The next team is an odd dragon team with Volcanion as its main damage dealer. Reggie continues his streak of good rolls with an assault vest and tanks it no problem. I feel like at this point this lobby is mine to walk away with. I grab a revive and this will likely be the last match. I slot in a Porygon as I no longer feel like I have as much of a need for Light 4, and actually start working back towards normal 9 if I need to, since the Ghost team was knocked out. It's back against Poison and this is their last attempt to take a win and build momentum in challenging me. It's a pretty long-winded slow fight, but Helios takes down the Porygon and clinches the fight. I was pretty surprised with how Helios did over these matches and might want to try running it more often in the future. The ending was pretty anticlimactic with a finish that wasn't down to the wire, but I hope this helps if you want to try running a normal team. I hope you enjoyed the match, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.